we are back here on 97.3 ESPN. Did you miss me yesterday? Of course you did. Just so you can text in and argue with me. Of course, that's the reason why you missed me yesterday. Well, we got a lot to get into this hour. Let's run it down for you. We got the Eagles injury report to get to the latest on that. Plus, we got Dave Weinberg for a Weinberg Wednesday coming up in less than 15 minutes from now. Andy McNamara is joining us at 6:40 tonight. And, of course, your guys' text coming up at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. So, without further ado, I want to get you some of the latest news because I think that this news has a legitimate relevance when it comes to what is going to happen this Sunday when the Eagles take on the Panthers. You hear the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. So, coming into this week, there were two big names I think someone like myself was very curious about. One of them was Darius Slay, and the other one was Reed Blankenship. And it's not I don't care about the other guys as much. We have already seen what life is like without Dallas Goedert on this team. Okay? Again, I'm not besmirching or speaking, any evil about Dallas Goedert. I'm well aware that Dallas Goedert has an extensive injury history. Okay? I know who Dallas Goedert is. He's not a guy who's going to be healthy every game. But this defense has been a key for Philadelphia this year. The Philadelphia Eagles defense has been the ultimate difference from last year to this year. This defense is allowing, through 13 games, 4 less points per game than last year. Overall, they're allowing almost an full touchdown a point after less than last year. So, for me, looking at this injury report was very, very important. And I got to tell you guys, for me, when I look at this injury report, I'm looking at an injury report that is a little I want to say troublesome, but the Blankenship concussion, if that wasn't bad enough, now you have Sidney Brown as well not practicing today. So that means that you are going to potentially, if things play out the way it looks on the injury report right now, you're going to potentially not have your starting safety and your number 3 or 4 safety out there. So that's a little concerning. Now, the good news is Slay was back at practice. He was a limited participant. So at least Slay is trending to come back. The safeties, wait and see. The Eagles have put CJ Uzomah, by the way, on the roster basically as a break glass case of emergency. Dallas Goedert is not available. And there's a strong possibility he's not available this Sunday as he's recovering from this not serious knee injury that the Eagles won't tell us about because they like to keep secrets. The other guy of interest on this injury report for many of you, whether you're just an Eagles fan or you're a fantasy football player, Devonta Smith was a full participant at today's walkthrough. Now, remember, he did not practice in any capacity last week. So that hamstring injury that he sustained, one, is much better than what the other guys experienced this year. Remember, you've had Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, and Jordan Mailata all suffer hamstring injuries. Goedert and Brown both missed 3 games. Mailata missed 4 games. So because of that, for Smith to already be back, that's a big deal. It's a very important note. So it looks like, as of right now, that Philadelphia is going to be more healthy on the offensive side of the ball than the defensive side of the ball. And that brings me to this question. The Philadelphia Eagles have never won more than 9 games in a row. So if Philadelphia wins this Sunday against the Panthers, but then loses next week against the Steelers, are you okay with that? Because they're going to lose a game somewhere down the stretch here. They are going to lose a game at some point this season. So if they're going to lose a game at some point, they're not going to go undefeated the rest of the season. It's extremely unlikely. Where do the Eagles stumble on their schedule? And are you guys okay with that actuality? 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. I will remind you guys again what the Eagles' schedule is coming up. This Sunday, you got the Panthers. Next Sunday, you have the Steelers. 2 straight home games. Then you have the final road game of the season at Washington in Week 16. So, if we're being fair, if we're being honest, there are 2 opportunities coming up for them to lose. I'm not saying they're going to lose either or both of them, but I'm saying there are 2 opportunities for them to lose. Now, right now, the Eagles at 10-2, they are far enough ahead of Washington that if they win every other game this season but lose to Washington, they still win the division. But losing to Washington will be a huge demerit for you when it comes to winning the conference, getting the 1 seed, getting that bye week. So I know it's not something you want to think about, but you got to be realistic. If the Eagles are going to lose a game this year, where is it going to be? Is it going to be against the Steelers? Is it going to be at Washington? Are you looking at it and saying they're going to lose to the Steelers and the Giants the final game of the season because they rest everybody? There's a lot of scenarios for this team to not go undefeated the rest of the year. The likelihood of them winning out and then making a deep playoff run, the odds are not in their favor. So if we're already going to wrap our mind out of that reality, where does our personal preference go? You let me know. 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Coming up next, Dave Weinberg joins us for a Weinberg Wednesday here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios.
This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2024 season this Sunday, hosting the Carolina Panthers.
Looking, he is firing, and it is caught for a touchdown! H.J. Brown!
Pre-game coverage starts at noon with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 1 p.m. This is the play-by-play home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Tired of hearing no? Everywhere you go, we turn no into go during Black Nissan's November sales event. Say no to high-priced new cars. Brand new Mad Black Nissan Sentra S, just $19,999. Say no to low trade offers. AJ the Trade Man wants your trade, no matter the make, miles, or condition. Say no to down payments. Say no to payments for 90 days. And say no to high interest rates. 60 months, 0% financing on every clearly marked new Nissan. Backed by Mad Black's 4-day love it or leave it return policy. Tired of hearing no to a discount on a new ride? New 25 Sentra S, under 20 grand.
Oh yeah, it's on at Mad Black Nissan.
Approved Tier 1 credit for NEMAC. Negative equity refinance. PIN number SY231649. MSRP 22,730 plus tax tag at $689.50. Offers can't be combined. 0% for 60 months. Call 877-289-667. Or go to MadBlackNissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 12/5/24. It's on at Mad Black Nissan on the Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Wrap up your workday with the all-new Chickies and Pete's Happy Hour with unbeatable specials weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy half-price orders of Chickies medium tender wings, one of our tasty and delicious pizzas, or an order of mouth-watering hot, cold, or fried shrimp. Plus $3 domestic bottled beers, $5 Tito's, and $6 seltzers. It's the all-new Happy Hour, weekdays, 4 to 6 p.m., only at Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Now, for a limited time, it's buy one, get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday. Buy one, get one free, and enjoy the sweet, delicate flavor of snowy white crab meat. Pair it with one of our handcrafted cocktails like the Stoli Vanilla Creamsicle or the Bourbon Peach Sweet Tea. Top it off with Chicky and Pete's world famous crab fries. Buy one, get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday for a limited time. Restrictions apply only at Chickies and Pete's.
The holidays are here at the Home Depot, so let's get to decorating. Find your perfect tree in our huge assortment of shapes, sizes, and styles. Like the easy-to-assemble Jackson Noble fir, with pre-lit branches perfect for styling with all your favorite ornaments. Or the Flock Starry Light Fraser fir, with over 1,900 pre-lit memory wire branches that keep their shape so it's ready right out of the box. Ooh. Find the perfect tree now at the Home Depot.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. NBA, the Sixers have won back-to-back games for the first time this season. They beat the Charlotte Hornets on Tuesday, 110-104. Philadelphia got 29 points from Paul George. They'll face the Orlando Magic tonight. It's a two-game set with the two teams playing again on Friday. Orlando has won 12 of their last 14, but they are coming off a loss Tuesday in New York to the Knicks. Flyers back on the ice Thursday, hosting the Florida Panthers. Philadelphia has won 3 straight games after beating the St. Louis Blues Saturday in overtime. The Panthers are the defending Stanley Cup champions, led by Sam Reinhart, who leads the NHL with 18 goals this season. The Eagles home Sunday as they take on the Carolina Panthers. Philadelphia at 10-2 on top of the NFC East. They've won 8 straight games. The Panthers are 3-9 and giving up nearly 31 points per game. That is worst in the NFL. The Eagles with the number 1 rushing attack in the NFL, led by Saquon Barkley. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
Something is happening here. Off the New Jersey coast, a new offshore wind project is generating nearly $2 billion in economic benefits for the state. We're generating thousands of local jobs, but the most important thing we're generating is trust. Look closer at Atlantic Shore's offshore wind, and you'll see that we're generating a clean energy future with a team that values safety, the environment, science, and a commitment to being a good neighbor. Learn more at AtlanticShoresWind.com.
From the Towns for New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. The air is very dry, and that's an important factor in ensuring tonight's Clipper storm system doesn't do very much here in South Jersey. Snow and rain showers are likely, so watch for slippery spots and low visibility, also turning windy overnight. Showers wrap up by mid-morning tomorrow, then clearing skies, staying blustery. Temperatures fall from 40 to the lower 30s. Friday, the coldest day of the week, high of only 37. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
Healthier starts here with Get Covered New Jersey. Get quality, affordable health coverage. 9 in 10 get financial help to lower costs, and many pay $10 a month or less. Enroll at getcovered.nj.gov.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Before we check in with Jeff from Ocean City and Tom from Tuckahoe, all your texts coming up at 609-403-0973. Joining us as is every Wednesday, it is Dave Weinberg for a Weinberg Wednesday, as he is attempting to stay warm in his car because he's down at Gusto Brewery for trivia night. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well, Josh. I need another beer to keep me warm, though.
Well, they have plenty of it inside. So
they sure do. Yep.
So, Dave, I asked this question before we hit the break. I wanted to present it to you because, the Eagles in their franchise history have never won more than 9 games in a row. So the idea that they're going to win out this season is pretty unlikely. So if they're going to lose a game down the stretch here, to me, I think there's, at least for me, there are 2 games that are the most losable, are the Steelers and then the game at Washington. So if you had to pick a game down the stretch that you were to say, look, we know they're going to lose a game at least, where is it going to be?
Probably the Steelers, I think, even though it's a home game. They seem to be the tougher team between them and the Commanders. Though the Commanders are kind of rebounded a little bit. They were struggling for a while, but seem to have righted the ship, so to speak. And it is tough to play down in Washington. I mean, Eagles seem to always have trouble down there. But again, I'm a big Mike Tomlin guy. I'm a big Russell Wilson guy. So I think the Steelers might be the bigger threat to end the winning streak.
Now, logistically, that's actually a good thing, Dave, because that means it would not impact their conference record.
Right.
Because they're losing to an AFC team. So, that would actually be, if there is a best case scenario for Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. If they're only going to lose one, yeah, definitely. An AFC team would be the one to lose. Yep.
Now, the other conundrum is the Eagles' final game of the year is against the Giants, Dave. But the Lions, who you're trying to compete with for that number 1 seed, they're playing the Vikings. So you have a team in the Lions who may very well be playing for their division championship the following week of the year. Well, you're playing, Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito in a division game. So, I mean, we know the Eagles have a history of sitting guys, but do you have to at least consider maybe playing the guys that week if you have a chance at the 1 seed?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You mean you want that bye, right? You want the week off for the next week. And the only way you can do that is getting the number 1 seed. So yeah, I can definitely see a scenario where he plays his guys. I mean, I think they're going to have to, if that's at stake, if they have a chance to get the top seed in the conference. Absolutely. You have to play your guys.
It's just such a strange scenario because, I mean, Dave, you covered this team for many years, and this organization loves to sit guys for that final game of the year. I mean, it's like a borderline obsession they have. Like, I remember when they trotted Jason Kelsey out for that 1 snap so he could keep the streak going. And it was just like, good grief, guys. Like, you guys are so, just so obsessed with sitting the guys. You could at least play a quarter. Like, goodness gracious.
Yeah. I mean, under normal circumstances, they probably would do that again. You'd probably see, Kenny Pickett as your quarterback, and then, a bunch of backups and key positions, most of the positions anyway. But that's when you have nothing at stake, or you really don't have, or the stakes are not that high. But in case of the number 1 seed, I mean, that's huge if you can get that. So I would expect them to play those guys. It may go against their, usual strategy.
By the way, your odds to get that 1 seed starts tomorrow night because the Lions are playing the Packers, and the Lions right now, the Lions are missing 8 of their top 11 defensive snaps this season to injury, and now they ruled out Taylor Decker, one of their best offensive linemen, for the game tomorrow night. So if there was ever a chance, Dave, for the Packers to maybe help you out, tomorrow's the night.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would never go against the Lions. I just think they just seem like they just keep rolling no matter what happens. But yeah, when 8 out of 11, that's a lot, and it's going to be really tough to keep pace, I think, with Green Bay in that scenario. But I mean, I would still favor the Lions, but I still think that. But then I can definitely see a scenario where the Packers win that.
I mean, the Packers, they're also trying to play for the postseason, so they got a lot on the line themselves. So, and remember, the Lions almost lost last week if Matt Eberflus wasn't an imbecile.
That's true. Yep, very true. No doubt about that.
By the way, can I ask you about because you and I haven't talked on the radio about that since it happened. Like, the guy loses the game, has the worst excuse after the game. They let him go out there the next morning for the day after presser and fire him less than 3 hours after he spoke to the media. Like, what is going on in Chicago?
Yeah, that's a really low class thing to do. I mean, why would you string them along like that? You knew all along you were going to let them go, so just do it in the morning or after the game or whatever, or over the weekend, whatever you want to do it. But yeah, don't wait until after he addresses the media. That just seems like that's kind of low class.
I mean, you feel bad for the guy. I mean, the guy might not be a good coach, but you can still treat him like a human being. Like, goodness gracious.
Right. Yeah. There's a way to do things, and like Eagles are one of the organizations that seem to do that. Respect to the guy, and the Chicago did not. That was that was terrible, quite frankly.
I mean, there's something to be said about the fact that that was the first coach the Bears have ever fired in season, Dave.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's pretty surprising. I mean, they've had some really bad teams, but yeah, it does take a lot. I mean, I'm kind of wondering why. I mean, why not just let them finish out the year? I mean, I know that was a really stupid decision you made on Thanksgiving, but I don't know that they're horrible. I don't know if he's lost control of the team the way, like, say, Chip Kelly did or whatever. Right. I don't know. But maybe they just figured it's not going to get any better, so might as well just cut ties and start over, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the entire Eagles team in 2015 hated Chip. So.
Oh, yeah. No question about that.
Dave Weinberg joining us here for a Weinberg Wednesday here on 97.3 ESPN. Extra point columns at 97.3ESPN.com. 2-minute drill columns after every Eagles game. Dave, I mentioned before you also came on, I was looking at the injury report today, and I'm very curious to see how the week progresses, because I know for some people out there, they're all about, is Devonta Smith coming back and all that stuff, but I'm more curious about the defense, Dave, because... Listen, I've seen Dallas Goedert not play for the Eagles 100 times at this point, okay? The guy gets injured every year. But I haven't seen this team play without Reed Blankenship. I haven't seen them have to cover up for the safety position yet. And I'm not saying that Bryce Young is necessarily going to test them, but I am curious to see what does Fangio do, because Fangio said as presser this week, Dave, and if nothing else, Fangio is probably the most brutally honest coach this city has had in about 25, 30 years. He blatantly came out and said that Tristan McCollum is the more well-rounded safety than Sidney Brown. So even if Sidney Brown was to play on Sunday and Blankenship is not available, you're not seeing Brown out there. You're seeing C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Tristan McCollum, and that's a very different pairing than C.J., G.J., and Reed.
Yeah, I guess he was pretty impressed with the way McCollum played when Blankenship got hurt. Had that one real big pass defense that kind of sealed the game for them. So I guess he's been impressed with him, as far as the practices and stuff. I mean, he obviously hasn't seen much playing time until last week. But I'm a little surprised by that, quite honestly, because I thought they were pretty high on Sidney Brown. And I don't know, maybe he's not like totally back from that injury from last year. I don't know, but yeah, it surprised me a little bit, but evidently, Fangio's been pushing all the right buttons to this point, so he must know what he's doing.
I mean, I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but I'll just to paraphrase, he basically said that, Sidney Brown basically is not up to speed enough on the defense at this point because he wasn't able to participate in training camp. And whereas McCollum actually has gotten more realistic looks at the two safety setup.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like you said, Brown missed most of it after, what did he tear his Achilles or something last year, I think, or ACL? I forget what it was, but
it was
I remember
his knee, yeah.
Yeah, he had a pretty serious injury, so it evidently, obviously took him a while to get back. And it's not just like you have to get up to speed, but you have to be, learn to be comfortable with your teammates and learn the system and learn how to react to what other guys are doing. So yeah, I can definitely see why Fangio would think that.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, Dave, whether we can say all we want about Sirianni, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, blah blah blah, but Dave, we all know that one of the biggest differences from last year this year is the defense. I mean, they're allowing almost 7 points less per game than last year.
Yeah, the beginning of games seemed to be the problem, but after that, they've just been lights out. I mean, Fangio's been able to figure out whatever's going wrong, and they make adjustments really quickly. And yeah, I mean, that's definitely been the difference in this team. I mean, Barkley obviously has been a huge factor as well, but you're right there. The defense has been the difference.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious to see what do they do on Sunday. Like, is this a scenario where they use this as an opportunity to maybe experiment a little bit? Does Fangio say, I know what I'm going to do, and we're just going to do it. Like, because, Dave, you know how defensive coordinators like him are. I mean, those guys, they have a plan, and you can't tell him nothing. Like, it's not like Sirianni's walking in that room and giving him advice. Like, Fangio is running that thing by himself, so help me God.
Oh yeah, no question about it. Although I don't know that, as bad as the Panthers are, I don't know if this is a week that you can tinker with stuff and kind of take it for granted. I mean, yeah, they're bad, but they're
scrappy.
They seem to be showing signs lately of, they haven't given up on the season by any stretch. There's still some fight in them. And, Bryce Young seems to be playing much better. Hubbard's is a very good running back. And, they took Tampa Bay in overtime just a week ago, and Tampa Bay's a really scrappy team. So it's, I'm not, that 12.5 points is a lot of points to give up. I think the Eagles win, but I think the Panthers cover that spread. I think they're a tougher team than what people expect.
I tend to think you're right. By the way, 2 weeks ago, they made the Chiefs work for every inch of their win. And I was listening to the Kelsey's podcast this morning, and Travis was cursing about that game. He was dropping a few F-bombs about how the Panthers almost beat them. And he basically said that they were lucky to win at Carolina a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like everybody almost beats the Chiefs, but they don't, right? The Chiefs just have that way about them that they know what to do in crunch time to pull out a win. Or there are some breaks that go their way too, obviously. But the Panthers are no joke. I mean, they were in the beginning of the year, no question. I mean, right. Bryce Young was just simply horrible to start the year, but he seemed to have learned from the benching and seems a little bit more confident, a little more comfortable with that offense. And I think they're going to give the Eagles a game on Sunday.
Dave, before I let you go, I wanted to know from you, because we mentioned Saquon Barkley. There's a lot of conversation about him being an MVP candidate. I know that the last time an MVP was a running back and not a quarterback was 2012. Right. in your years of covering football, do you think Barkley is having the kind of year that would be MVP worthy, or do you think that's maybe just some media hyperbole?
No. He's definitely should be in the conversation. I might favor Josh Allen at the moment, but but he outplayed Lamar Jackson. I thought. Well, Lamar had a pretty good game last week too, but didn't really make the huge plays, obviously. So Barkley's been doing it week in and week out, and I definitely think he deserves consideration. Not that I'm not saying he should win it, but he's definitely a contender.
Hey, listen, man, I gotta tell you something about Lamar. We gotta stop blaming these quarterbacks when these receivers drop balls.
Oh, sure.
I mean, Nelson Aguilar.
Oh, yeah.
Nelson Aguilar dropped 2 balls. It was it was like homecoming for him.
Just dropping babies, right?
Right. Oh, that will forever be the guy said we catching out here catching babies on like Aguilar.
Yeah. That's kind of funny because Nelson's made a pretty good career for himself, honestly.
He has, yeah.
He's turned to being he's usually a pretty reliable receiver. That was a bad game on Sunday. It's crazy. Him and Mac Hollins seem to have really rejuvenated their careers once they got out of Philly.
Yeah, well, Mac Hollins has turned into like the strangest man on earth. I mean, the guy is
he's always been that way. Always been that way. He brought us
to
training camp as a rookie. Yeah.
Like, was he walking around barefoot as a rookie with the Eagles?
He did a lot of that kind of stuff. He's a very different kind of guy. Yeah, I wasn't surprised at all.
Maybe it's because there's nobody else playing receiver in Buffalo that he's getting more attention. But
yeah, maybe that could be. Yeah.
Because he was like the 5th guy in 2017. Like he was pretty far down because he was. I remember when he was drafted, Dave. They drafted him for special teams. The whole shtick was this guy is a great special teams guy, and he might be able to play receiver. And it's now in Buffalo, he's like the number 2 or number 3 receiver. So I guess he gets a lot more attention now.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, he was kind of far down on the depth chart in Philly. No question about that. He's kind of reminds me of like J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. They were kind of like the same mold. Both kind of like relatively high draft picks. They're not first rounders, obviously, but people were really considering them to be able to contribute, but they never did.
I'm pretty sure Mac Hollins had more plays in his Eagles career than J.J. Arcega-Whiteside did.
Oh yeah, no question. Yep.
Because I remember the one touchdown he had. I think it was against the Dolphins. The one long touchdown pass from Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the Dolphins game. He's like flying on the left side, and everyone's like, "There's Matt Collins!" It is.
Yeah.
It's like this.
By the way, is Jordan Matthews still a tight end with the Panthers or no? You know?
I don't think so. I can look it up.
I think he tried to like rejuvenate his career a little bit. I think he tried to make the switch to tight end from wide receiver, and
he did. Well, it started with. So it's funny you said that because I do remember this story. So he was with the 49ers, and he was the guy who went. It was like the receiver working out Trey Lance before the 49ers traded up to draft him.
Okay.
And it was with the 49ers he tried to latch on. That was the first time he tried to make the switch to tight end. But as we all know, you put Jordan Matthews next to George Kittle physically, and there's no comparison.
Correct. Yep.
I mean,
curious if I don't know if he's still. I was curious if he's on the team or not. I don't know.
Well, I'm looking at their roster right now. So he's not on injured reserve. He's not on the active roster. Let's see if he's on the practice squad.
No, I doubt that.
He is on the practice squad.
Get out of town, really? Wow. Boy, what a fall down the ladder that is. My goodness.
He's listed as 6'3" and 236. That sound right?
Yeah, put some weight on. Yep. Okay. From Vanderbilt.
Let's see here. Has he even appeared in a game this year? So he has appeared in a game, and he has one target this year.
Okay. Well, good for him.
Well, what's funny is, Dave, he literally did not play in a single game from 2019 to this year.
Really? Wow. Oh, okay. I didn't know it was that much of a gap. My goodness.
The fall is much more than you gave it credit for, Dave.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, it could be a great comeback. Who knows, right?
Yeah. Well, his buddy Wentz won't be around. Thank God.
Yeah.
Pun fully intended there.
I understand. Yep.
He's Dave Weinberg at Dave Weinberg 19 on Twitter X platform. Extra point columns at 973ESPN.com. And this Sunday after the Eagles play the Panthers, you can catch his 2-minute drill article as well on the website. Dave, always appreciate you jumping on. Go in and warm up with some beer at Gusto, okay?
Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it as always. I'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Dave Weinberg joins us each Wednesday here on 97.3 ESPN. Before we hit the break, a couple texts that are coming in to the show at 609-403-0973. Tuckahoe Tom chimes in and says, "Hey, Josh, as long as the Eagles do not lose to the Cowboys, many of us hate the Cowboys as much as we love the Eagles." Okay, well, at least we eliminated one game for him. Jeff from Ocean City says, "Hey, Josh, welcome back. Do you think Penn State can steal the Big Ten title?" Could they steal it? Yes. I think in the most literal sense, they have talent. I think Penn State has always been a team that has talent. But as I told somebody earlier this week, I trust James Franklin as much as I trust a taco to win a game for me. I just don't trust the guy. I think it's more about Franklin than it is about actually Penn State. Jerry from Brigantine chimes in at 609-403-0973. He says, "I think if the Eagles are coasting, the one team that will make you realize you are is the Steelers. They'll knock it right out of you. I don't think they're running the ball well right now, but I think that we can beat them. But if we slack in any area against the Steelers, they will bring it out of us." That's from Jerry in Brigantine. Well, listen, I think the Steelers are probably the consensus pick at this point, where most people think that would be a game they lose. And I think you're right, Jerry. It's less about maybe the Eagles literally, and it's more about the Steelers might just be the hottest team in football right now. And maybe the Eagles do need a little bit of, hey, back to reality kind of situation. Andy McNamara will talk some more NFL with us coming up next here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Ross Tucker here from Westwood One. Join Ian Eagle and me for Thursday Night Football with NFC North action from Detroit, with the Lions hosting the Packers. Green Bay is 9-3 and very much in the playoff hunt thanks to a 3-game winning streak. Now they face the division-leading Lions, who are 11-1 and on a 10-game win streak. Don't miss it on Thursday Night Football.
Listen to Thursday Night Football. Coverage begins at 7:30 on 97.3 ESPN.
If you or someone you know needs help getting through a difficult time, start with NJ211. When you reach out to 211, we can connect you to help with housing, utilities, food, childcare, senior services, income support, healthcare, legal issues, and more. Help is available in over 150 languages, and the service is free, confidential, and available 24/7. Need help? Dial 211, text 898-211, or search nj211.org.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Meanwhile, at the New Jersey Lottery Scratch-Offs division.
Team, check out the new holiday scratch-offs.
Gotta love gifts you don't have to wrap.
Oh, I need to wrap.
What's happening?
And he's standing up. 4 new tickets are making a splash. From its sold outside to candy cane cash. So if you're in need of gifts in a flash, find a store and make like a reindeer and dash.
So no wrapping needed.
Nope.
Anything can happen in Jersey. Must be 18 in order to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Parents are urged to think twice before gifting lottery tickets to children.
Let's face it, winter can be a hard season. It's cold pretty much all the time. Blizzard. You have to shovel. Another blizzard. You slip on ice. But you know what makes winter suck a little less? Getting a free phone. Join Cricket Nation and get a free Samsung Galaxy A15 5G. Ouch. Welcome to enjoying more. Welcome to Cricket Nation. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Must open a new line on the $60 unlimited plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Broadleaf's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning is your go-to Mitsubishi Electric Elite Diamond contractor in South Jersey. This holiday season, consider upgrading to an all-electric heat pump from Mitsubishi Electric to keep your home warm and cozy. With energy efficiency incentives, rebates, and 0% financing, it's more affordable than ever. Make the switch before year-end to qualify for up to $2,000 back in federal tax credits. Call Broadleaf today for a free quote at 609-390-3907 or visit broadleafs.net.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know, to check that your seats aren't in the visitor section first, before buying tickets.
I'm so excited for this game. I can't believe you got us tickets.
Me too. Wait, are we on the wrong side?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
This is going to be a long game.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City, a community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
We continue the football conversation now, as promised. Andy McNamara, he's back for another football conversation as we are at the midweek point of NFL. Tomorrow night, football, 2 days off. Andy, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing all right. And I got to start with the NFL news that just popped off during our commercial break there. So the NFL, the appeal for Azeez Al-Shaair was upheld. He will still be suspended 3 games. And good. I got to tell you, the two problems I have with this whole situation, Andy, is one, the fact that the people who are trying to say that, you know, it wasn't a dirty hit, okay?
Stupid.
they're the ones who were ignoring the fact that he literally did not tackle. He put his arms up like he was going for like a wrestling move.
Josh, it was a forearm. It was, for those old enough, it was the Lex Luger 90s WWF finisher, this flying forearm. That's the first thing that legit popped into my head. He was a forearm. That was not a tackle. That was a dirty, filthy hit, and I think he should have been suspended the rest of the year. 3 games is the least they could do.
Well, my other problem with it is, and let's be realistic, I don't think it's as dirty as the Kiko Alonso hit years ago. I thought that was dirtier. But my problem is I do have to empathize with Nick Caserio because the Texas GM is right. It's not like Azeez Al-Shaair has like this history of being a dirty player. He's not Vontaze Burfict. And if you look at the league's press release, they wrote it like he was Vontaze Burfict. Like they're talking about like, you know, like he's got a history and it's like they really character assassinated this guy as an excuse. And it's like at one point you're reading the thing and you're like, is this really John Runyon writing this thing? Like, was it John Runyon? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so weird. And then the guy, did you see who was the, who heard his hearing?
No.
For the appeal? It was Reuben Foster.
Oh, Reuben Foster heard it?
Yeah. Like,
I know he was, interesting.
I didn't either until earlier today. I was
Reuben,
like,
you're in. You're in, buddy. Go hear an appeal. Easiest call.
It's like a 3-way tag, and like the least likely person gets tagged in. I'm like, wait, me?
But what? Reuben Foster? Maybe they thought this was a nice, easy way to break him in because that was the easiest appeal to uphold in NFL history to appeal. Look, I don't care how much this guy's done or hasn't done in the past, dirty or not on the field. That was a disgusting, filthy hit. And look, I have no vested interest in the Texans or the Jaguars. Team-wise, I don't care. But that was dirty, nasty. And the thing is, Josh, if he went by, we've seen incidental all the time. NFL's bang, bang. If you slow anything down, you can make anything look bad. If it was there and he went and his shoulder hit him and where he was continuing, this guy put his forearm out. He thought and intended to hurt, whether it was consciously or not. His instinct was to hurt with a forearm. Throw the book at this bum. Get him out of here. I was super pissed off. I was yelling at the TV. I'm like, why am I so enthralled with Trevor Lawrence here? I got no vested interest, but that has no place in the league. Absolutely disgusting. And you hurt a player, went out of your way to do it. Like I said, I think 3 was the minimum. I would have been more than happy if you kicked this guy out for the whole year.
By the way, I need to make a correction. It's Raymond Foster, not Reuben Foster.
Oh.
Different player.
Well, still.
One guy's a former offensive lineman, the other guy's a former linebacker.
Well, there you know, regardless, some old ex-player got in there and made the easiest appeal call in history. Good. I'm glad. Get that guy out of there because now it's like, okay, well, not that the Jags were doing anything anyway, but now there's no Trevor Lawrence, right?
And now they're playing Mac Jones, and he gets to earn that car ad that he was repping in the offseason.
Right.
Remember
and you know
those
what?
pictures?
Oh, I do. And just look, not that Trevor Lawrence was lighting up in fantasy football wise, but fantasy wise, this kills you, Brian Thomas Jr. owners out there.
Or does it?
Well, I think it does. Well, you know what? That's a fair point because he can dink and dunk. Maybe the top guy, maybe. And Parker Washington actually popped with Mac Jones. You know what, Josh? Maybe fantasy wise, I'm so conditioned with Mac Jones stinking.
Sleeper pickup, maybe?
Oh, no. Listen, we're not playing Mac Jones as quarterback, but can Mac Jones be fantasy relevant for your players? Now that you're saying it,
here's your schedule. Here's your schedule coming up. You ready?
Yeah.
Remember, Lawrence is out at least 4 games.
Yeah.
Titans at Tennessee.
Tough defense.
Home against the Jets.
Okay.
At the Raiders.
Okay.
Home against the Titans.
Tough defense. So the fantasy football finals is week 17. So if we're looking at like this is the last regular season week for fantasy leagues. And then it's playoffs. So
playoffs
is going to be, you know what? One for your listeners, if you are desperate, because it's buy him again, 6 teams on buy. If you are desperate, Parker Washington, sneaky play for the Jags in a flex. If you are in hell, you can think about putting him in. He popped a little bit.
He did a little bit.
He did.
That's true.
A little bit.
You know, it's funny you said about the fantasy football. Andy McNamara, AndyMC81, hashtag Ask Andy. You know, when you talk about fantasy, you know, I was going through this earlier today, and for example, I got Justin Herbert. He's one of my quarterbacks. And, dude, I'm just sitting there like, oh, he's playing the Chiefs this week. Like, dude, like the Chiefs defense at least is decent and good. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like Herbert's lit the world on fire this year. Like, I dropped Aaron Rodgers in both of my leagues. And it's like, you're looking around, you're trying to maybe like offset some of these bad late season matchups, right?
It's tough. With all the buys.
And it's like to the point where it's like, Andy, I got to ask you, if you're a desperate fantasy owner out there, let's say you don't have a great quarterback situation, right? Let's say you're an idiot like me who prioritize every position but quarterback in your draft. I'll wait for you to finish that glass of you just drank.
There we go.
A little glass of water. I want you to spit all over the microphone over here. But I think it's a legitimate question. Can Jameis Winston save your fantasy season?
Let me take that drink of water. Spit. Jameis Winston is a madman. He is the most entertaining person in football. I love him to death. He's great. That Broncos game was insane. It was absolutely crazy. My power went out partway through. I was furious. Oh, you know what? I meant to bring this up. To you. 97.3 saved me for Monday Night Football. You know why, my friend? For those listeners, I'm an hour east of Toronto. Okay, so our local crap media didn't let me get online radio for the NFL game when my power went out in the TV in the middle of that great game.
What?
Didn't let me get it. Didn't let me. The Tuesday didn't let me get it. Garbage. But you know who saved me? I was like, wait a minute. 97.3 ESPN. I bet that. I went online and I heard the rest of the game on 97.3 ESPN. You guys saved me. So I'm a guy in Toronto listening to a game in Denver on a Jersey radio ESPN station. And that's how I got through the game. So thank you for the 97.3 ESPN. Tremendous coverage allowing me to listen in Canada.
We do have the games.
Oh, I don't know where we're going with that. Sorry. Jameis Winston. Yes.
No, but I'm serious. Like, is there a part of you for fantasy purposes that says if you need a quarterback,
why not? You know what? For this week in Pittsburgh division game, I kind of shy away from it. But against Kansas City and Cincinnati, I think light old Jameis up.
Definitely against Cincinnati.
Absolutely. Light old Jameis up. Like, we could have a situation here where, depending how far you go, if you need help, certainly in 2 QB leagues, I would play Jameis Winston this week and going on. If he's your second, absolutely. He's chucking up everything. We don't know who it's going to go to. Pick six. The Lord deliver me from pick sixes. Have you ever heard? I wonder if God Almighty has ever heard a prayer to be delivered from pick sixes. Just sensational. You know what? He's up there too. If you want a bit of a safer pick, higher floor, much lower ceiling, much less of a heart attack waiting to happen for this week, maybe you go to New Orleans and you go a little Derek Carr with their matchup against the Giants. Certainly not going to be as heart clenching, but Jameis is interesting there.
Speaking of listeners on 97.3 ESPN, Tom from the Villa says that maybe they should make the quarterback slide illegal once you're 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. Maybe this would avoid some of these problems.
Interesting. I think, but then, yeah, I understand what he's saying. At least, like, because they try to slide as late as possible and almost try to draw in the penalty, which can cause these situations, right? But at the same point, you do want to keep the quarterbacks safe. So I'm not sure if there's really a workaround for it. If you do the pass 5 and then you can just light them up, like, because players would be looking at that. They'd be like, okay, let's go hunting for QBs. I think that could pose most problems. I think it's a good starting point for a conversation, but I don't think there's an easy solution to it.
Dan EHC says, who's going to win the AFC, the Chiefs or the Bills?
Ooh. You know what? Until the Chiefs lose, how can you bet against them? Last year, Josh, gave me it took away every argument for me to ever doubt the Chiefs until they get beat, because last year was the chance. You had to go on the road. It wasn't the easy path. You had to overcome Cam Patrick, and they did everything. They did it all. They don't look good, so what? The Chiefs' unimpressive wins are what most teams go through in a bit of a losing streak midseason. Then they find themselves. Their losing streak is still winning, and then they'll figure it out come the playoffs. So I think if you look right now, if we're just looking at it in a vacuum, I would take the Bills, how dynamic they are. Absolutely. But can I trust the Bills who keep getting beat by Kansas City in the postseason?
But the only team that beats them What if
in the regular season? In the regular season.
What if the Bills don't have to face the Chiefs in the playoffs?
If someone upsets the Chiefs early?
Like let's say you get Chiefs Steelers and Boswell hits like 5 field goals and the Steelers win a postseason game.
You know what? That would be an interesting situation because the Steelers are built with that defense, and with Russell Wilson, we saw able to light it up.
And the Chiefs' offensive line, their O-line stinks.
Yep. Oh yeah, definitely. So that would be interesting. If the Bills can avoid Kansas City and something fluky happens and KC gets knocked out, it's Buffalo's to lose. No question about it. And then then in the NFC right now it's the Lions Eagles, right? I don't think it's even close for another one. You can say how fun Green Bay could be or Minnesota, but really, nobody is looking as good as the Eagles or Lions in the NFC.
Speaking of teams that almost beat the Chiefs, it was the Panthers. Panthers are turning into this scrappy team.
Right.
Any concern for the Birds this Sunday? Eagle fans want to know with the Panthers.
Hell no. That's cute. Little Bryce Young, pack your lunch, kid. Get your backpack on. Go to school. Nice. You got a participation sticker. You got a gold star on your cheek because you did nice and you almost won. Almost doesn't mean squat. You lost. Okay? And the Eagles are going to punk you this week. I'll tell you that. I have
big spread. It's a really big spread.
What's the spread right now?
Last time I saw it was 12.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that spread. See, you're right, though. They have been scrappy. You know what? This is a game I would go like prop plays. I'd go like Saquon anytime, maybe a Jalen anytime. Is Goddard's out, right?
He's trending to be out. He did not practice today.
No.
The Eagles act like injuries are like national secrets around here, man. Like they are acting like Dallas Goedert's injury. It might as well be called a lower body injury,
right?
Like it's hockey.
Yeah, lower body, upper body. Yeah, you got the halfway done there. That spread makes me a little nervous because you're right. The Panthers have been scrappy. Obviously, the money line is going to be atrocious. You're not taking the money line. The over under at that point, it's weird. So I would say if we're betting this game, go prop plays, right? I'm interested. I have to play Adam Thielen in one of my fantasy leagues, so I hope at least the Eagles can lay off him a little bit. He popped back. He looked good.
I mean, in that case, you might as well just pray Darius Slay doesn't play this week.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. But that's the thing. There's so many teams off, and if you have all these injuries, CeeDee Lamb, what about Devonta Smith? Has the hamstring? Is he coming back this week?
So he did practice today. So at least
he was close last game. He was close.
Well, it's weird because the Eagles, when Goddard and Brown injured their hamstrings, they missed 3 games each. And then when Mailata injured his hamstring, he missed 4 games. So the assumption was that Smith was going to miss 2 games. But if he comes back this week, I'm sure there's a lot of fantasy owners will be happy about that.
Well, the thing is, and the tricky part is, one, you might not have a better alternative. And the frustrating part is how late to that Sunday kickoff do we wait before making a decision for it? Because if it's a queue right up till Sunday morning, I hate those 90-minute before kickoffs. Those drive me nuts.
We do have a texter who has a fantasy question for you. They're asking, and I'm not even joking when I say this, I need to pick a quarterback, Andy. Justin Herbert or Jameis Winston?
Oh, my God. What a time to be alive. What a time to live, friends.
I mean, that guy literally has the same conundrum I do in one of my leagues.
It's okay. So here's what we got to look at. It's tricky because 2 weeks ago, they played Pittsburgh and won in the snow globe in Cleveland. So you have to take sort of the stats and sort of wipe those out because of the weather.
Greatest day of Jameis's life, by the way.
So much pure joy. There's not enough pure joy in the world, Jack. Pure joy. The man is a delight. But the Steelers are also now with a win here, and then you get one more. You can wrap up that AFC North. They're smelling it. So, and the Browns, by the way, the last Browns quarterback to win in the regular season, Baker beat their butts in the playoffs. In the regular season in Pittsburgh was 2003 Tim Couch for the Browns.
My goodness.
Yeah, 20 straight losses. 20 straight regular season losses.
Mike Tomlin wasn't even the coach then.
I know. It was Cowher. Right? Yes. That's how long ago. So now, as we know in fantasy, we don't necessarily care if the team wins or lose. How are you going to put that up? I would say I know the ceiling might be lower with it, but Justin Herbert, I'm getting a feeling with J.K. Dobbins out, they might be forced to air it out a little bit more for the Chargers. And you get Kansas City, maybe we can get the score bumping a little bit early, turn into a little bit of a shootout. I'm going to say you go Justin Herbert here. Avoid the division rivalry.
My only suggestion for this also would be, because we got to get going, Ladd McConkey, watch his status throughout the week. Because if he's good to go, it probably helps your Herbert case.
Gosh, I have McConkey in like 4 of my teams, Josh. I'm sweating buckets here. Come on, McConkey, please.
At AndyMC81 on the Twitter X platform. Tell the folks about the Sick Podcast, Andy.
Yes, sir. You can get it live Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. You jump in. We talk about fantasy football in real time. We get you the start sits. You jump in the chat. Josh's been on the show a bunch of times. We talk about, we get you ready for it. We answer your questions. We build the Parlay Party Ultimate Betting Ticket as well. Tee up the games, have a ton of fun. 10 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. Subscribe, notifications, and on X at AndyMC81, at SickPodBrowns, Instagram at AndyMC Sports.
Andy, my friend, always appreciate your time.
Good stuff, buddy. Talk to you soon. Go Birds!
Go Birds. The Eagle Birds, not the Dirty Birds.
That's right. That's right. The good birds. I'll see you later.
Good Birds. All right, we're wrapping up the Power Hour here on 97.3 ESPN. I literally did claim Jameis Winston in one of my leagues last week, and he was sitting on my bench for that crazy game in Denver. I assumed that the Denver defense played well all year. I didn't think Jameis was going to be the one to put up 497 yards. I can't believe there's a human being on this earth who has the same conundrum as I do. Herbert or Winston this week. Andy's right. What a time to be alive. I mean, Jameis has become like a national treasure. I mean, the dude talks about how he's never seen snow before. He talks about how he's praying to God to deliver him from pick sixes. Like, there's no one on earth like Jameis Winston. The dude he's just wild. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night, everybody. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Winter is approaching. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Kelvy Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Kelvy Electric, the premier electrical contractor, serving South Jersey for over 110 years. Visit KelvyElectric.com today and stay ahead of any storm.